For too long, the United States has sacrificed American lives and resources in conflicts that do not serve our national interests. Today, we find ourselves entangled in wars in Ukraine and Gaza, wars that are clearly not ours to fight. Furthermore, the United States should avoid further conflict and entanglement in foreign issues, such as those in Ukraine and Gaza, because it drains our economy, risks American lives, and often leads to unintended consequences that destabilize global regions. The first point I want to focus on is the cost of U.S. involvement in Ukraine financially. Now, with our financial aid, the United States has contributed significantly since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022. According to the Congressional Budget Office in 2025, Congress has appropriated nearly $183 billion for Operation Atlantic Resolve and for the broader Ukraine response. Now, this clearly not only has contributed to a massive financial cost for the United States, but furthermore risks escalation with conflict with Russia. The United States showing military support and operating missiles and giving direct military aid towards Ukraine further antagonizes the Russians, which possibly could lead to a nuclear-armed conflict. There's also no clear endgame in the war in Ukraine, yet the United States has essentially written a blank check. This clearly does not serve our interests. Outside of the conflict in Ukraine, we have to look into the cost of the conflict in Gaza. Now, we've seen that there's been significant military aid given to Israel as well. Israel has been the number one recipient, according again to the Congressional Budget Office in 2025. That Israel has been the number one recipient of U.S. foreign aid since its inceptions in the 60s. Now, the United States has provided the substantial military aid to Israel, including the construction of the Iron Dome, which Israel has refused to be able to give to the United States after its development. However, throughout this entire investment into Israel, what are they doing with it? Well, we see that the clear cost of lives right now in Gaza is estimated to be about 40,000, according to a United Nations Human Rights Tribunal in October of 2024. The U.S. involvement risks furthermore escalating tensions with war with Iran and Hezbollah and other militant groups, Iran being 2 weeks away from a nuclear bomb, according to Scientific American in January of 2025. Furthermore, risks that and perpetuates that risk of nuclear war. Furthermore, support for Israel's military actions have sparked significant controversy at home. According to a Gallup poll from November 1st of 2024, finally a majority of Americans either support a reduction or a complete revocal of military aid for Israel. The American public has been divided, yet a majority of Americans are finally saying that we need to hold back on our support for Israel. These are the two major conflicts that show us in the present day how the United States getting involved in foreign conflicts can affect us negatively and furthermore increase our own security risks at home. However, we also have a historical lesson of foreign interventions and lack of success. Most notable ones are Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. These were all long and costly wars that drained billions and billions of dollars alongside the human cost of American citizens. We also have been completely inept when it comes to regime change. Now, if we look at the coup of Muammar Gaddafi in 2014, we see that Gaddafi, after he was deposed, Libya completely fell apart. As a matter of fact, according to an NBC article written in August of 2015, we see that the number one profession now in Libya after Gaddafi's disposal is prostitution. These countries that we show up and attempt to liberate, we end up decimating their ways of life. The government is there because that's what the people have accepted it to be. That is in line with their culture and their tradition. Not everywhere is ready for democracy. Now, furthermore, we see that there's a larger economic cost of war that we're feeling here at home. With these major costs, the United States has put itself into furthermore debt. There's a significant human cost, with tens of thousands of soldiers losing their lives in the Middle East wars, which furthermore perpetuates the risk of human casualty of the United States citizens if these conflicts go further. So, finally, we see that the United States should not be involved in foreign conflicts. Firstly, because of the human cost. Secondly, because of the economic cost. And thirdly, because of the risk of escalation. Thank you.